Now it's a beautiful day in Vancouver, and I think it's a nice day to answer an extremely tough TOEIC question. So let's get started. Here's the question. All right, pause your screen if you need time. All right, to get this answer, you need to understand two things, grammar and context. Now, for context, let's make sure we understand the whole idea. Here are some key vocabulary. The first is inflation. Inflation, of course, is an increase in prices. So recently, in my country, Canada, the inflation rate has reached about 6%. So prices are going up about 6%. The next term is so too. So too is also. And finally, interest rates. Interest rates are the cost to borrow money. So most credit cards have a 19 to 30% interest rate. Pretty high. Okay, so now we can understand the idea. We can say blank prices rising. The central banks told people that interest rates will also rise. Okay, so first we can use grammar now. Let's eliminate because. This is because you need a subject plus verb after because. So you could say because inflation rates were rising, or because inflation rates rose. But if you look at this, you just have inflation rates, which is your subject, and rising. Rising is not a verb here. This is a gerund. If you said were rising, are rising, that's a verb. But here we don't have a verb. So immediately eliminate because. Now we can eliminate be. Since. Why? Well, since has two meanings. The first meaning of since is it started at this point and continues until now. For example, I could say, since starting my YouTube channel, since I started my YouTube channel, or since the start of my YouTube channel, I have created over 100 videos. Now, you can notice when you use since this way, you use since noun or since subject verb. Now, your main clause is present perfect 99% of the time, because it started in the past and it continued until now. Here's another example. Since inflation started rising, the central banks have warned that so too would interest rates. Since the rise in inflation, the central banks have warned, have been warning. But in this TOEIC sentence, we do not see have warned. We just have past simple. Warned. When you use since to talk about time, your main clause is going to have present perfect 99% of the time. We do not have present perfect, therefore since does not work here. Now, the second meaning of since is because. When you use since like because, you need a subject verb. For example, if I say, since the cold weather, I won't go outside. This is wrong. But if I say, since the weather is cold, I won't go outside. This is correct because you have the weather, which is a subject, and is, which is a verb. Once again, when you use since to equal because, you need subject verb after it. With our TOEIC question, inflation rates rising, there is no verb. Inflation rates is the subject and rising is the gerund, but we do not have a verb. We do not have are rising, were rising. There is no verb. Okay, now we have two options left, with or by. Now both of these are prepositions. They can both be followed by verb ing or a noun. Therefore, grammar won't help us that much. We have to look at context. Now, we can look at the meaning of by verb ing and with verb ing. By verb ing tells us how we reach a situation. For example, by studying hard, I passed the test. How did you pass the test? By studying hard. Or by increasing cigarette prices, the government was able to reduce the number of smokers. This is how they achieved this, how they did it. When we use with verb ing, it tells us why. With it being so cold, I decided to put on a jacket. Why did you decide to put on a jacket? With it being so cold. By putting on a jacket, I was able to get warmer. How did you get warmer? By putting on a jacket. Notice the difference. Next one. With the company having a staff shortage, it decided to offer higher wages. Why did it decide to offer higher wages? Because of the staff shortage. By offering higher wages, it was able to find more employees. How did it find more employees? So what question does inflation rates rising answer? Does it answer how the central banks warned or why the central banks warned? Well, the answer is why. This is the reason they warned that interest rates would probably go up. Think of it this way. Because inflation rates are rising, the central banks warned that interest rates would rise. This would equal, with inflation rates rising, the central banks warned that so too would interest rates. It's answering why. So that's why we're not using by. By verb ing answers how. So the best answer here is with. For more information on how to use with, check out my past lesson. I'll put a link at the bottom. Okay, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. Please like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.